All right, now that I've got this pulled up, let's walk through the exercise. This is a writing craft exercise I've messed around with a couple of times. It's called the Strange Attractors. If you're not familiar with what Strange Attractors are, it's two things that on their own are okay, pretty cool, but should not be able to be combined together. But when you do, they somehow work. So let's walk through a few of these so you can figure out how the exercise works. You can do it on your own. Let's start here. Moon and water. What happens when you put these together? I don't know. Maybe we can do some type of magic water bending. Think Avatar: The Last Airbender, right? When the moon's out, you can water bend easier, smoother. Maybe you can do it more powerfully. Or maybe you just think the Fae, right? Maybe there's something going on the moon. Go to the next one. Ocean's 11 meets My Fair Lady. That's really heist and a rom com. Should not go together. But when you do, you get the novel Mistborn, which Brandon Sanderson has openly said this is kind of what these two things combined are. You have a knight and a Viking. What happens when you combine those two things? Doesn't work as well in the exercise, which is okay, but you're going to have a battle for honor. That's really what you're looking at. What about a knight and a wizard? You kind of have the mundane and the magic. What happens when you combine those? Well, you end up with a paladin or a dark knight. Now, this has kind of become a staple in fantasy. You have that holy paladin versus the evil dark knight, but really it's these two strange things combined, and it just works so well that we see it over and over, and it's very powerful. But really, it's two strange things combined. The nobility and the honor versus barbarian and wild, we kind of talked about that here. What about dragons and humans? What happens when we combine those together? Well, maybe you end up with dragon riders. Maybe, they're in an army. Maybe something like the Fourth Wing. What about space and magic? What happens when we combine those together? Well, that's Star Wars, right? And you can just keep going, listing whatever you want. Hopefully, this helps and it's something that you all can play with on your own and come up with some really cool ideas.